I remember a few years ago when we took on our Jubilation campaign, we talked as a church about how in those building renovations, we were not building a kitchen or building a new entrance or building a nursery. We were building a church. When you build a church instead of a building or a kitchen or an entrance, you think not just about the final product, you also think about the processes that go into that. You think about the people involved and how we can be closer knit together through a project like that and be closer with God and our community. I've been thinking about that recently too, as we've been discerning our next steps during this COVID pandemic. How do we continue to be a church, not just a Sunday morning experience, or not just creators of worship content, right? How can we be church? I want to give you an update on how your leadership, how Nancy and I and your session, including a subset of that session that is calling itself the Next Steps Task Force, how your deacons and how your staff, how we have been working together toward being church right now, and how we want to work together to be church in coming weeks and months. So I want to tell you what we've done so far, what we're thinking is going to happen next, and how you can help. So first, here's what we've done so far. We've been meeting weekly as a Next Steps Task Force. At every session meeting and really every staff meeting, we have conversations about what's next, how are we navigating this moment, especially thinking, of course, about how to open up our physical space. We've developed regulations and procedures for opening up that space, including new ways to schedule outside groups and internal groups to use our space safely, and developing a system by which people can be considered safety officers, which sounds really formal, but is a way of making sure that people know what measures we have to take with each other and with our space to keep them safe. Because of all of that coming into place, we've been able to move into levels 1 and level 2 of Next Steps Healthy at Church plan that we laid out originally in May and have expanded and developed since then. You can see more information about that on our website. Main part of that has been opening up our carriage house and opening up our parking lot. We're in level 2 now. You may not see groups meet immediately, but what that means is we've started to receive requests and have outside groups fulfill all of the needed procedural regulations in order to use our space. And the same can be said of groups from within the church. So pretty soon we're hoping to safely see people in our parking lot and in our carriage house as we're in level 2 of our Healthy at Church plan. So that's what we've been doing so far. Along with that, we've worked on our online worship experience, making sure that it is the best it can be for what it is. So hopefully you've seen as we've learned and grown together in that endeavor. So what will happen next? We have been slower to open our main building and our sanctuary more broadly, in part because we're eager to learn. We're eager to learn from our opening up of the carriage house. We want to know what we're going to get right and what we're going to get wrong. We're continuing to watch and listen to our community at large, to various governing and scientific experts. And we're working to develop solid plans about those next levels, taking into account not only the safety of our congregation, of the people who might come, but of course of our staff and our lead volunteers and those who would help make a worship experience happen. We're certainly keeping that safety really high up on our list of priorities and concerns as we move forward. And we're actively getting prepared by asking all of our committees to appoint somebody in their group to qualify as a safety officer and to be ready and on hand so that when the time comes for us to open up our sanctuary or our larger building, we have the preparation of people trained and ready to go already in place. Orders are already in the works for supplies and all of those needs so that when the time comes, we can be ready. But as I said, in the meantime, we're trying to learn and we're trying to listen, and we're really trying to keep an eye on the health of our whole community, our staff and volunteers included. So the third thing I wanted to tell you about is how we need you. We need your help. At this moment, as always, but especially right now as we consider how to move forward as a whole church. So here's how you can help us out. First, in the next few days, you'll receive another survey. Our first survey, we had amazing responses. We had almost 100 people actually take that survey, which for a survey is actually a pretty high number. It was a great response. We will say that as a committee, we found the responses really helpful in a lot of ways. We learned a lot, but there were no clear directives. It was not a clear sense of we all want to be back in the space or we all want to just worship online, although the vast majority of you did say you would continue to worship online throughout this pandemic. So we appreciate that consistency, and we'll continue to make sure that that experience is what it should be. That said, we know that a lot of people are hankering to get back in the space, and there were a lot of great suggestions and comments as well for how we can think about doing that. Even so, there were also a lot of you who have dealt closely with the safety issues of this moment and are concerned about what that might look like. There was no clear directive or majority. So we're going to offer you another survey and hope to do this regularly. We hope you will take that next survey. We hope you will offer in it your sense of what you need or want in order to be fed in body and soul, and what you want to make sure is offered to our broader community as well. So take that survey. That's one way you can help. Another way you can help is we're going to have a town hall. We're going to have a Zoom town hall kind of experience on July 19th at 9:30 in the morning. In that experience, your Next Steps Task Force will lay out what we've learned so far, what we've been doing, help articulate all of the thinking that's gone into our current moment, and we'll invite feedback and we'll ask for your own questions and thoughts. We're doing this all as a community and are trying our best to listen and learn from you and from each other as we go. So please join us on July 19th at 9:30. You'll get more information about that in News from Church or on our website. Another way you can help is because now we are in level 2, we want you to know that your committee or your church group might be able to gather safely outside. And in order to do that, you'll need a safety officer. So we're going to invite you or anyone else to be a part of that first wave of people who are qualifying themselves to help make sure everyone is maintaining the safety levels we're hoping we can have as a church community. If you're interested in organizing a way for you or others to gather in person in our parking lot, let our church office know. If you're interested in being that first wave of folks who are qualified safety officers, let our office know. We will help make sure you can navigate that just like any of our outside partners or our staff can these times. We also have a lot of supplies coming in. We're on the list for orders. We have supplies already in place, but we know that things like PPE, masks, hand sanitizer, those are all going to be really necessary things in coming months. We happen to know, I'm not going to call out anyone personally, but we happen to know a few of you out there are really great mask makers, things like that. We would love for those who have access to those kinds of things or have those talents to offer them as we work toward opening up. If you are able to offer supplies, things like that, we would gladly accept them and appreciate that kind of generosity. Most of all, what we need from you is for you to take care of yourself, to stay healthy. We're all in this together, and I know that we say that so often at a state level or a city level, but it is the case, and especially at a church level, that we want to take care of each other. And so by taking care of yourself and those immediately in your that you come into contact with, that will help all of us be able to get back into our sanctuary sooner. So take care of yourself. That's a great way to help us all out. I get to see Peter's face pretty regularly, and it brings me a lot of joy, as I'm sure it does anyone who encounters Peter's face, but I miss your face too. We all miss your presence, the presence of people in these pews. We miss that deeply. Your leadership all misses being together in the sanctuary. But we also know that Lakeside Presbyterian Church is not just a Sunday morning experience. It is not just worship content, right? We're a church. We're a community knit together. And that means we're doing our best to care for the least of these in our own community and congregation and neighborhood. And that means we're loving God creatively and consistently through worshiping and learning and serving, now as always. So thank you for your continued commitments, your grace, your energy and imagination as we work to do just that together safely throughout this summer. Thank you.